Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and this is the 157th video on my video journal series. Today's date is Wednesday the 15th of July 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you, and finally I am back on the red couch. This feels weird, being able to talk in front of a camera whilst on the red couch, because I've been in the shack for so long that now this feels like a secondary sort of thing when really this is the main point on my video journal series, the red couch. It's the big icon of this channel. And yet again, my brother finally moved out, and I'm happy to be able to record videos in this space again. And yeah, it's just a privilege being able to, sit down and talk. And I was originally going to do a movie review of the fourth Detective Conan movie, the next one. But I didn't get around to watching that film today, and I've got so many things booked this week that just popped up unexpectedly. So I'm like, all right, well, now I got to go through all of these things, and don't worry, I'll get around to watching the fourth movie. And also the fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth one. I'll get around to watching all of them, and trust me, they will be, good videos, more researched, more, I guess, detailed in explanations. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But today I wanted to focus on something a bit different, something that you may have noticed a lot in my earlier videos, and to some extent the latest ones that I've uploaded, and that is my hair. I have pretty long hair. I used to let it out in my earlier videos, but now I got it in a ponytail. I have not cut my hair in 2 years. I think last time I cut it was July or August of 2024, so it roughly marks 2 years since I last went to the barbers. And obviously with the beard, I have trimmed it a few times. The last time I trimmed it was maybe like 1 or 2 months ago. I've been letting that grow out a bit because sometimes it gets a little bit too long and it gets a little bit too irritating. But with my hair, yeah, no trims, no nothing for 2 years. And I want to go into, I guess, life having long hair, the sort of complications and, I guess sort of pros in, my eyes, but in other people's eyes may seem like a more of a hassle, maintenance, upkeep. And yeah, obviously, who knows where this video journal series will take us. Maybe by the end I'll be like bold, maybe I decide to go bold, or maybe I decide to cut it. I have no plans right now to cut it, not in the foreseeable future, but you never know what happens. And yeah, I guess, why did I decide to grow out my hair? Well, I decided to grow out my hair because my high school had a very strict facial hair and hair policy. You weren't allowed to grow a beard or mustache. You had to keep your hair short. And I remember having to deal with that for like 6 years. It was just, so irritating. Obviously I'm counting it 6 years, from 2019 to 2024. 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, 6 years. All right, I'm going to do it like that. 6 years. So yeah, like just being able to grow it out was sort of like an act of rebellion against the school. Um, because I was just so fed up with not being able to like at least grow a mustache. Because I remember the first time I grew a mustache once I hit puberty. I have to shave like every couple so days, and I just hated it. And I always wanted to grow out long hair because I never ever had long hair as a child, and this is the longest my hair has ever been up until this point in my life. So yeah, and obviously, that's why I decided to grow it out. In a sort of act of protest against the school. So once I left high school, once I graduated high school, I said, you know what, I'm not gonna get a haircut. That's it, and I just let it grow. And I would say around March 2025, it started to get there. But I remember a few of my friends said to me, a couple of months ago, maybe at the start of this year, hey Josh, I remember how you looked in 2025, right? I don't have footage of me, maybe around my birthday, because I had my birthday, but obviously I wasn't recording this series in March of 2005, so you would not be able to see it. But I looked at my hair at like some old photos and birthday videos. I'm like, man, it looked ugly because it was like in that between stage where it was like it was neither long nor short. It was just like around the ears, and my friends, they didn't like it. They just said, Josh, it didn't like suit you. But I was like, you know what, this is the middle stage. I just have to let it grow, and it was around um maybe late 2025 where it started to get like a pretty good length around shoulder height. And obviously now 2026, it's like pretty much my desired length, shoulder height, which was what I was aiming for. And I've obviously noticed a lot of things, especially trying to like clean it. That's the biggest hassle, trying to like shampoo your hair, because once it finally looks good, it's going to be really hard to maintain that. You got to shampoo your hair. Obviously, you're going to get trims, but I haven't gotten any trims, but it's kind of on me because I know you're supposed to get trims every couple of so months, but I was just curious to see what my hair would look like without any trims, and it isn't bad, but I notice a lot of my hair is falling out because obviously I don't trim it, I don't take as good of care of it as I should technically, and all that trimming does is basically remove some excess hair and prevent split ends from forming, which is basically when a hair piece sort of like cracks into two or splits into two, and it kind of like ruins the length and it just fall off your hair. And I've noticed that especially when I eat, like I just find hairs all over the place on the floor of my room. Sometimes like a hair drops while I'm eating. Other times when I let my hair down, it's just like, especially while it's wet, just like slaps in your face, or it gets like really a sort of like unnerving. There's a lot of complication, especially when you're trying to put like a jacket on, and like the jacket like sort of like pulls on your ponytail, or if you just want to put like a lanyard around your shoulder, or not around your shoulder, sorry, around your neck. These are your shoulders. This is my neck. When you put a lanyard around your neck or anything around your neck, you gotta like lift up the ponytail, lift up your long hair, um, and especially the wind. Oh my god! Any of my female viewers or just any viewers actually who just have like long hair, you will know the sort of struggles. It does look good. It depends like if you're into having like long hair or not. It for some people it does really look good. Others may not decide to go with long hair for maintenance issues, and maybe because they don't like the style, and that's respectful. With me, I definitely like the beard. I'm not getting rid of the beard. Clean shaven me, aka my profile picture, just looks uncanny. I really have to say that about myself. It just does not look good. So keeping a beard, mustache. But yeah, my long hair. Despite obviously the hairs, causing some sort of a you know pollution issue around my house. Yeah, I do like it. I don't know, it just feels natural now, and I feel like when I'm gonna cut it, it's just gonna feel really weird. It's like because I'm used to like the sort of like added weight at the back of my head now with my ponytail. If I get rid of it, it's just gonna feel like really weird moving around my head. Um, but I guess I'm gonna go more into like the complications. I guess another thing is you know I guess it's just mostly food related. When you try to like eat food. Um, Also, sometimes like hair bands, right? Hair bands. To keep in like that ponytail shape, you use like a hairband or rubber band. They break every few weeks or few months or so. So you have to get like new hair bands, and that's always a pain. And then when you remove the hairband, it just has like a lot of hairs attached. Same with like brushing your hair. When you brush your hair when you have long hair, you just find like all these excess hairs in the brush, and you gotta like remove them, throw them away. Like sometimes I'm just sick of my own hair. I'm like, there's some days where I actually thought about like cutting it, but I'm like, no, just let it grow it out. If I want to keep like this short sort of style at the front, I'll just like you know tie up a ponytail, and I'll just like tuck in the ponytail. So like who really cares? Who really notices unless you're looking at the back? Um, but yeah, I guess it's maintenance really. That's the main issue. And the fact that I guess like when you have like a shower, when you step out of the shower, you just like water running through your eyes. because your hair just drips all the way down. You got to dry it, all those things. But yet again, no, that's just basic maintenance, basic care. I know like many restaurant places, not that I've worked at a restaurant with long hair, but they want you to like tie it up like in a bun or something like that, and that's respectful. But obviously, you got to tie it up. Uh, you got to make sure the hair doesn't go in the food. Another food thing, I'm so obsessed with food. Sorry, um, but it's just what comes with having long hair. You got to maybe need a fishnet. I've known some people who've grown out their hair for like 5 years. All right, one of my former managers showed me a picture. Right, he has like a small little mullet, or when I used to work, I saw he had like a small little mullet. But yeah, he showed me a picture of him having like very long hair up until like past his shoulders. He grew up for like 5 years. One of my friends, yeah, hasn't cut his hair since like I don't know, like 8 years or something at the very least. And after a while, maybe like once it's reached shoulder height, the growth really just starts to slow down. So realistically, there's only like a certain limit to how far your hair can go down. It's not going to be like Rapunzel or anything. It's just going to reach a certain sort of limit. And obviously, if my hair were to go down theoretically all the way to like my butt area, I might have to cut it. Maybe then I will actually think about cutting my hair. But yeah, like I've actually been a little bit concerned if I don't like cut my hair, because yet again I grow like hair quite quickly. So yeah, due to I guess genetics, who knows where my hair will be. If it goes down to the floor, I'll just like constantly stomp on my own hair. And I've seen people like have hair like close to their like butt area. Sorry to use that term, butt area. And obviously, I guess all that added extra weight will really like sort of irritate me after a while. So I'm just happy how it is now. If I had to maybe just to grow it out an inch more, maybe, or just to keep in like its original shape. I'm just happy how it looks now. Yet again, though, just I guess it's maintenance and care that are really like the big sort of things. But I don't mind. I don't mind, and I've seen my other friends. They've grown beards and all that since they've left high school, but none of them surprisingly have long hair. And I've asked them, why don't you grow out your hair? And they said, oh, obviously maintenance and all that. But they say, Josh, you look pretty good with long hair. And I'm like, all right, well now I have to keep it now. Um, if I get rid of it, then that's like another 2 years. Like 2 years of progress pretty much wasted. So I got to restart again. But it just comes down to personal preference. You know, another. If I had to maybe list another challenge having long hair is that you know, hmm, I really got to give this a thought. What's another challenge with long hair? I guess you get used to it, and I think that itself, if you decide to change your hairstyle later, it's going to take a lot of time to sort of readjust. And I know this comes back to what I said earlier, and it's sort of a con in my eyes because whenever I change up something in my life, it just takes a long time to get used to that new change. And I feel like, yet again, if I get rid of my long hair, it's just going to irritate me, like, because I know something's wrong and something doesn't feel right. It's going to do that for like, it's going to be like that for the next couple of months. It's going to take a while for me to readjust. Um, you know, because yet again, having short hair, it's just a lot lighter on your head, and I'm just not used to that. I'm sort of used to the complications of having long hair. Actually, I'm used to these sort of issues. Oh, another thing. Trying to sleep with a ponytail, it is absolute nightmare. Whenever I sleep, I just get rid of the ponytail. Just let my hair down because yeah, trying to sleep whilst I'm resting down in bed, it just blocks away. And I know no one who sleeps with a ponytail with their hair tied up. But yet again, though, when I'm like tossing and turning in bed trying to go to sleep, sometimes like my hair blocks my face, and it's so bad. Because you have to like weave it out of your face so then you can breathe and see. yeah, sometimes your hair, sorry, like covers your face if it's like that long, and that can that can pose a hazard. Actually, you shouldn't be like that. So yeah, that's why I try and like separate it. But yeah, like just trying to sleep is like a little bit of a nightmare. No pun intended. Um, so yeah, yet again, if I really had to cap this video off, yeah, there are a few complications of me having long hair. The reason I decided to grow it out was basically because I was irritated at my school's hair policy, and I said to myself, you know what, when I leave high school, I'm just going to grow it out, and I did, and I think it looks quite good on me. This is the longest I've ever had in my life, and I just like it, but obviously there are cons to it. But I guess the main pro is that it looks nice on me and that I'm used to it. And people view you sort of differently when you have long hair, in both good and bad ways. People view me as like, oh, who's this hippie guy? I once had someone call this like ponytail. A close friend of mine, he called this ponytail like a man bun. I was like, get your hippie terminology correct. This isn't a man bun; it's a ponytail. Mind you, it was a lot more like smaller, but it was still a ponytail. Yeah, and I just like, obviously, I don't think a man bun would look good on me personally. Um, maybe look good on like a few people, but not me. Um, yeah, so ponytail's way to go, and ultimately, I like it, and I'll recommend you experiment with hairstyles that you like. Obviously, you don't have to grow out your hair. You can just simply give it a new sort of style and all that. But I guess if you are thinking about growing up long hair, even as someone like as who's never had long hair in their life, maintenance is a key one. Don't be like me and don't get any trims. Obviously, trim it, take good care of it. Um, and once it's reached like a desired length, usually around shoulder height, you can just like cut it because you know theoretically, like if it grows like any longer and longer, it's just going to be harder to maintain. It's going to be harder to wash. It's just going to cause a whole lot of issues if you grow it beyond your desired height. And it's not going to look uniform as well. You've got to have like different, sort of threads of hair at different levels. So it's going to look really uneven. Best to take care of it. Best to get regular trims, wash it obviously. And if you just feel like you want to have short hair, um, every so like um, every like uh, every while or so, you can just like tie it up, and it'll sort of give you that effect. At least from the front where it looks like you have short hair, but at the back, you can see that you have long hair. Um, that's personally how I view it. If you view it in a different way, that's completely acceptable. Um, and yeah, as for things I have this week, oh man, I gotta do something tomorrow with my friends. Then the day after that is one of my friends' birthday parties, and then the day after that, which is 3 days time, I'm doing another thing with one of my other friends, and then I also got to head back to obviously my studies soon in around 2 weeks. So there's a lot, all right. And theoretically, next week will be my last full week off with like no work, no studies or anything. So yeah, it'll be pretty much spent trying to like transition back into my studies, and obviously I'll still be making this video journal series, but in terms of like free time that I have, it'll be sort of diminished. But yet again, no, I don't mind. It's not like I, have a job anyways. And to be fair, like, I always get my work done on time. I always get this, mostly got this video journal series on time. There have been 2 occasions where I've missed the deadline, but that's because I pressed upload like 20 minutes before midnight, and then it took like so long to upload that it just like hit the early morning. But yet again, I still got to continue with this video journal series. I've at least recorded a video every single day. Um, and I feel like some people could ask me this, well, what happens if you don't record a video in a day? What if you forgot, which is unlikely to happen? I just keep alerts on my phone. But let's say if you have to go underneath surgery for a day, or if you're like a hypothetical coma or whatever, in that case, I'll just, double the video length, and I'll essentially cover 2 topics or 2 days worth of topics. topics, right? Hopefully I'll never have to resort to that because yet again the challenge is like creating an entry every single day. But I feel like if I just set that sort of rule there, I know I'm putting at the end of a video like some random video, but I feel like I should mention this now. Maybe I should just put it like as a post somewhere on my channel. That if I somehow don't record a video on a specific day, then the next day, next available day, I'll cover, that day's, that missed day's worth of content or things I want to say. Um, and that will mean obviously the video length will reflect that. It's the best I could do in that hypothetical scenario. Hopefully, it won't be like that. And I've always, found a challenge in trying to upload or record myself at the very least every single day, no matter where I am in the world. But yeah, you just never know. But anyway, yet again, thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye, see you, take care. Catch you tomorrow.